quite expensive. All right, good. Boom.
What are you saying?
Good to see you,
Right, yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. What's the conversation about today?
I think they're trying to approach bullying. Like, is there bullying tactics in the park? I think that's where they'll go.
In the park?
Yeah. Do people engage in bullying tactics in Speaker's School?
Content over everything!
I don't know. I don't think how useful is that. Like, what's the moral story behind it?
I think what they're saying is maybe some people are intimidated.
Some people are intimidated because they're weak in it. They shouldn't be coming here if they're that weak. Like, if you're not confident enough to defend yourself or to stand your ground, there's no point of coming here.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, man.
Are them people like mentally?
Well, yeah, there are people who are mentally challenged in the park. Yeah, there's quite.
Are them two a bit slow?
I don't know. This is a question that they can have themselves.
I was just looking at the way they're reacting. They both look a bit mentally slow, or are they?
Well, that's a conversation we can have, but then I don't know if we can start that way and have it go productive. Do you know what I mean? But if there is, then we should really show compassion for them and try to aid them in a solution for that problem. Really, if they are, because that's a concern if someone has mental issues. So I don't know. But I think I think some people they struggle to articulate what troubles them. When you struggle to articulate it, then you're not actually trying to find solutions. I was trying to give them a way to find solutions, but they wasn't engaged. So it is what it is. Alright, well, that's that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Question. Sure. If it was a conversation between a Christian and a Muslim,
Yes.
and you asked the Christian for a minute just to park any sort of reliance or belief on Jesus and just head straight for the big man, how much closer do you get in terms of everything, do you think?
So break it down again. So I'm talking to a Christian and a Muslim.
Yeah, are you a man of faith?
No, not really, no. But I am talking to a, so what I'm saying, I'm going to
Yeah, so I come down here a lot and see the Christians and the Muslims chatting. Yes. The conversation usually turns to like, Jesus is the saviour, like, nah, he ain't, and blah, blah, blah. Right. If you ask the Christian, all right, for a minute, just park your belief in Christ.
So you're telling Christian, yeah, just
Stick
go.
with the big man.
So it's talking about, but I think the only issue is I think many Christians actually believe that Jesus and the big man are one.
I know, but I'm just saying, right, move on. Like, let's park that for a minute and let's try it just for conversation's sake.
I think that might be a chance for them because their whole basis is
No, but just humour me for a minute.
Okay, so
because I've gone through this thought process and I'm like, what would happen? Would you say it would impact a lot of their conversations? Because I feel like a lot of the headbutting gets to the bit about that man. And
all right, so let's say they say, okay, we're going to pretend Jesus doesn't exist and we're going to deal with Yahweh.
whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Jehovah.
Exactly.
Then what?
Stop following me. Get away.
For me, it feels like it would take away the majority of the conversations they're having. Like when they're comparing scriptures and words for he said, she said, this, that, and the other. But when you actually just go, well, let's skip that and get up a step, you sort of end up, I don't know, maybe I feel like they'd have a lot more to talk about.
I think a lot of these faiths, they are rules. I think they fundamentally have a certain point where the rules don't correlate. They don't correlate, do they? So
They don't even correlate with my version of reality, you know? It's just like,
well, what is your angle on a Muslim and a Christian argument? What is it that you would like both for them?
I personally think it just comes down to this whole like focus on maybe what was or what has been prophesied to be, but ultimately when you remove any stuff that we're not 100% sure about.
Well, there's many things in life that we're not even sure of, right?
Absolutely. You kind of end up with the fundamental basics of like, you know, you've got faith or you haven't, or you believe or you don't, and if you do, you've got like a fairly mutually understood way of how to live life, right? How you ought to live. Because a strict Muslim and a strict Christian, in my mind, in many ways, in so many ways, really similar, right?
Yeah, I think the reason why they can have that conversation is because they are similar.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah.
That's why they get.
Yeah.
That's why they get to the point because they're similar up to a certain point.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, it's like, we're different. And we can tackle that.
I feel like when it comes to Jesus, that's where it all falls apart, you know.
I think what you're observing a lot of like emotionally driven conversations.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge when you come here is to put your emotions on the shelf and to understand that not everyone's going to believe what you believe.
No.
But there must be a purpose of what you're trying to get. And also, sometimes you have to talk through people to someone else.
Fair
You know what I mean?
play, yeah.
So I want to talk to you, get to the end, so that way people on the internet can actually work out what I'm saying more so than maybe you can. So I think if we people apply that method, then you might actually get a conclusion.
Yeah.
Those two strategies will help.
How are you feeling about the future right now? You optimistic?
The future of...
The future, man. The future? How are you generally feeling when you wake up? You're like, another day's here now. You know, how are you?
Yeah, well, I feel very privileged that I have choices that I can make, and there's things I'm doing, and I have access to things that I've worked at. So I'm very happy for this, and I'm happy though that I'm in a better situation than many people, and I can try to get other people in that same situation, and then try to get in a better situation as well.
And you know what they say, right? The more you know you don't know. And I definitely have felt that. Just the more you start learning and asking questions, you realise there's so much more out there that we've got no clue about.
That's very true. Have you given yourself a purpose?
Me?
Do you have a purpose?
I do have a purpose.
What do you think? What do you feel your purpose is?
Mine at the minute is basically related to my work, so it's helping small businesses get a handle on their data. I feel it reduces waste, it increases efficiency, and ultimately gives people the choice of either more money or more time.
But the thing is, what is, for example, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Have you ever sat down and yourself and asked, why the hell am I here? What is the purpose behind all this?
That's a great question.
Have you ever asked yourself that question?
I have. I've usually always skirted around it, thinking I'm not as important as I should be,
But at the end of the day, let me tell you something. Everything is important. Let even be as small as an ant or small as a bee.
Yeah.
For example, small animals like bees and spiders and these things, they play a super major role on Earth. A key role. They are more like the guardians of the Earth.
I've been vegan for 3 years now, so I've done a lot of research into a lot
so
of
the thing is, there's such species like that have a purpose. For example, one of the most worthless thing in this world is a phone and technology, right?
It's a bit of a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it brought us so much goodness as well.
Yeah, but it has a
it's
purpose.
Such a contradiction.
Yeah, the thing is,
I think it's just a tool, maybe.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to get at is this.
Yeah, sorry.
Things like this do have a purpose and they have a reason. They play a major role in everything.
Yeah.
So you as a human being, such a complicated species, being or animal, how could you not have a purpose?
Yeah, I like that, man. That's inspirational. You know what I'd say in retort though is the fact that you're saying all ants have got their purpose, right? Well, then I'd be like, well, I'm sure all humans have got their purpose. And at the moment, I just feel like it's just to fuck shit
Also,
up.
the other question, there's
Just
another
like
deep question that you need to
fucking
ask yourself, yeah?
Like, be the first to the top.
Yeah, but there's another deep question that someone needs to ask themselves.
Sure.
Is that, you see, everything in this world, in this planet that we live in, is connected, right?
Okay.
Starting from the bees to the big animals. Sure. You get rid of them, something will go wrong in the planet. Right? It would have a certain effect on the ecosystem. Now, the question that remains is that you as a human being, when you are removed from this, for example, look, you depend on the cycle of life, but the cycle of life or nature or the nature of law does not depend on you, but rather the nature of law, the law of nature depends on itself. So now the question that you need to ask yourself is that if I'm not within the cycle of nature's law, then, or if I'm dependent to nature, but nature's not dependent on me, then who am I?
That's a great question.
Where do I come from? Because I do not fit in the cycle of nature.
Recently, I've decided that I'm somewhat of like a choice engine, and every time one of my senses is engaged, I have to choose good or evil. Every time I see, hear, taste, smell, or touch something, I
but where
decide,
do you
am I a good man or am I a bad man? And that's helping to drive me.
But do you always choose good?
Purpose.
Do you always choose good?
No, but
what makes you choose evil?
Say again?
What makes you choose evil?
I mean, you know yourself, right? It's so complex. It could be your mood, how much self-control you had to exercise throughout the day, whether you're sick or healthy, whether you got cash in the bank or you're up against it, all sorts of things, right? And ultimately, often the question of choice and evil is also good and evil. So it's also, do I do it for you or for me? Often that's it, and it's really just a case of like fight or die. If it's that survival mode, it's like, in this instance, I'll choose myself over others, like, do I buy something in plastic or just try and carry it home?
Right. So you're equating that to evil. So some of those small micro transitions you're pointing at.
I think all of them, all of them. And I think inherently as a culture, we like automatically react to the good ways of doing things. Like if someone says hello and they look you in the eyes, you generally look them back and even nod if you're not like really rude, right? So we've got a lot of basic level like responses.
There's one thing.
So when we get to those triggers, the tricky ones, where I feel the future is not looking too.
There's one thing that you should understand as a human being.
Yeah.
A lot of people tend to miss out. Right. Is that every single individual is as unique as their fingerprint.
Yes.
And the way we see the world and the way we, for example, if you die or you go away, this being of you, this type of you, the inner system of you will not be here. It's gone. It will never be repeated again.
I hadn't thought of that. That's
right?
great.
You will never be repeated again. That's it. It's like your fingerprint will never
Game
be repeated.
over.
Game over. Now, what you need to do is like at the end of the day, there's a purpose, like I said, behind everything.
Yes.
So we have a mind and something we call soul, or a mind and a heart. And we have two thinking systems. In Islam, it is aql and qalb.
Okay.
As a Muslim, that's what we call it.
Right.
Aql means the mind that thinks through the physical world.
IQ and EQ.
Yeah, and then the qalb is, the heart that you see good things from. For example, you only decide heart, you only love good through here.
So I guess my decisions will be a mix of those two, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
This is where you love good, this is where you decide what to do and all stuff, you get me? So now, as a human being, it's always good to think deep about reality, about life. Why are things the way they are? Like, we can't just live, we can't just be like, yo, I'm just here, so what? Like, you get me? Because you are wasting a unique system that's different from anybody else. So if you just go away, you just go away, right? As a Muslim, we believe that on Judgment Day, there's going to be a Judgment Day. And Judgment Day, actually, some people say it begins after you die. Like you will be judged. Exactly. When you die, you'll be judged. What have you done? Like, I've given you this unique system that's unique to you. What did you do? Right? And the question is, like, a lot of people ask, does God exist? And the thing is, that's a really good question. Like, what do you think of God? Do you think God exists?
I don't know. I've always started by saying I don't know. I think I have to come to this journey. These are very big questions. So
yeah, but it's a big question, but it's a question that we cannot escape from sooner or later.
Is it also not one that we can't really answer either? It's that question, isn't it?
Actually, it's really easy to answer whether there is a force behind.
Do you have your proof?
Do I have my proof?
Yeah.
Okay.
For you only.
Okay, for me, first of all, we cannot prove that, or tangible proof that, boom, he's here. Or
when you say he, it's here. So this is the thing. It's like definition is important, isn't it? Right? How things are defined. So I think when you talk about deities and this kind of stuff, you have to have a definition. So, but the more you define, the more you actually put in certain form of evidence that needs to be put forward. So when you say if you say things like he, then we're using a language that the person speaking to understands. So then we have to think what makes a thing a he. Right? Is it based upon a mutual opposites between he and she, or is it having a genitalia, or having X chromosome, Y chromosome, this kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So that's
a simple question. The thing is, look, when someone says, for example, when we say he, right, because God, right, the Creator, for example, as humans, we attribute to Him as what's it called, either a melanin attribution. For example, melanin attribution. For example, a man. Sorry, not melanin. Sorry, male. Sorry.
It's a melanin thing.
Melanin skin. Sorry, skin color. Sorry, I missed it too. A male attribution. It's not like he's a male or he has a gender. But for example, maybe in the olden days, women would look after the family and so on and so forth, where the father is the provider, the father is the creator, the father is this, the father is that. It's a he that runs the world. That's how it was, you get me? Apart from some parts of the world, there was a she who was a king or queen.
There was many parts where it was matriarchal.
You get me? But anyways, the attribution is due to, also for example, the sound of the word. Right? For example, a car, that's a male kind of sounding name, for example, or moon, like for example, you're gonna say the girl is beautiful, you'd be like, you shine like the moon. You can't go to a man and be like, you shine like the moon. Right? Can you tell a man you shine like the moon? Or
well, not in our cultural stance, but what I'm saying is, this is what I'm saying when it comes to language. There's different cultures where different things happen because of their surroundings, the way they connect with nature. So, this is all like subjective, isn't it? Like in the sense of, it's down to people's experience. But what I'm saying is, when you say man, it's like, if you say that the deity you worship is a man, and then he goes, okay, he's not a man. Like, okay, if you can say he, can you say she? No, you can't say she. Then I think there must be a man. Because if you can say he, why can't you say she? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And in the Muslim faith, they always refer to their deity as a masculine figure, right?
Yeah, and that's their culture.
Actually, what is attributed to him. Like, for example, you hear me? For example,
you made the point.
It's the attributes. For example, look. For example, the word Allah or the word God. God does not sound like a female name.
Once again,
But for example, there is goddess.
You're talking about linguistics.
It's all about linguistics. But the point I was making, that's what I said earlier, he or it.
I think it, well, in the context of using English,
Because God in Islam, we believe that the Creator has no gender.
yeah.
He's neither
so
male
that's
or
where you might
female.
confuse some people because once you have no agenda, you can't be using the he or she. Can you?
Well, actually, to be fair though, if the language acquisition wasn't advanced enough, if you're saying you believe that your body is both male and female or of neither sex, that's interesting because I didn't know that.
Okay.
That's great.
Now,
Right?
I think
Yeah.
that, I think
Just
you
shitty
say,
writing,
I've not heard that maybe it takes on a masculine energy. I don't know.
Yeah, you do, yeah. Well, I guess you have to keep the boys in mind.
But once again, for me, I think once you start defining these things, for me it becomes very without a tangible thing to hold on to, it becomes hard for me to latch on to because
as soon as you
it seems to me that our language and our communications has heavily influenced how we are describing
Absolutely.
Power, supreme power.
As soon as we put language to anything,
Yeah.
it becomes an object of discussion and debate and doubt.
And if I talk to someone, they tell me that their deity is not a male, but you have to refer to them as a male. I go, well, can I refer to the deity as a female? And they say no. I assume that there is a earthly bias put on them, as in whoever wrote that particular text or whoever is telling that narrative is coming from the pro-male perspective. And I would assume that if you went to a society that was all female matriarchy, when they read their interpretations, they might put a start that has to be female. So once again, I'm seeing that the earthly behavioural patterns is influenced the divine interpretation. Well, I could be wrong.
And it could be
Hence
all
why
about
I say I
language.
don't mind not
But there's
knowing.
one thing, look, I do understand, but there's one thing that you need to understand, brother. The thing is this, yeah? As, like, for example, we are so, like, focused on the gender of God, like, why do we call him he, or why can we not call it it or she? But there's more things to actually think about than that specific thing.
Oh, definitely.
And then, for example, let me finish this, yeah? For example, in the Quran, right, God always tells us that look into creation. That if you want to find me, right, if you want to get to know me, if you want to know what I am and my ability and my existence, right, look into creation. Look into nature, basically, right, and look into the law of nature, and then see the way things work and and see how things work and how things are connected and the ecosystem of life and everything. And then once you get into that, then you would see there's a force behind all this, right? So the thing is,
And that's Allah, is that right?
wait, before we get there, there's a force behind it.
Okay.
Right, so now, whether we call it Allah, whether we call it God, Mungu, and all sorts of names, right? The thing is, there's a being, right? A being. For example, there's a being, meaning being is like something that bees, a being, something that's a force, a living force. A living force.
Okay, so
So this living force, for example, nothing.
is the sun a living force?
Wait, before you go there, is the earth a living force?
I don't know, but as far as I'm
So
aware.
why would you say no? Because at the end of the day, if the earth was dead, then life would not come out of earth.
Well, in the sense of there are things on the earth that are living. That's once again this language can come into mind.
No, it's not actually. It's a good question to ask.
No, I'm not
because
saying
look, for example, look, humans have a heart, right? This heart pumps energy and blood into your body that you live.
Yeah.
The earth has a core, right?
Apparently.
Exactly, and
don't
that.
know.
Well, what do you mean probably? This
We only got down about 18 miles to Russia.
we don't know.
If you go any further, if the further you go to Earth, there's only volcanic. But anyways, let me try to make my point.
Yeah, man.
The Earth has a core, and this core burns, right?
That's not been proven.
What do you mean? Tell me how it's not been proven.
No one's got to the core.
No, tell me though. No. What source? Give me a source that says it wasn't been
The
proven.
deepest we've dug is like 18, something like 18 miles.
I think they're saying it's a hypothesis or a theory.
But if you want to roll with it, that's okay too. I don't believe
There's no
there's
reason why I wouldn't
eternal
follow it.
burning
let's
fire
forget.
source at
No,
the core of
forget-
Scientists do
forget.
say there is a core in the earth. This is what has been said.
All right, let's just say. Okay,
that's new
let's just
science.
say.
What they're saying is that there is no
just
actual
saying-
physical evidence.
Does it say anything in the Quran about what's in the Quran?
Wait, we'll get to that. But the thing is, before we get to, okay, let's assume that the core doesn't exist.
Okay.
But the point I'm trying to make.
Well, let's assume it does for your point to be made.
No, wait. Forget about the core. But the point I was trying to make at the end of the day, if the earth, because we're talking about a living God, a living creator. Because all I'm trying to say is that only a living thing can something living come out from, right? if something is dead or something, that's, for example, if Earth was dead, like when I say dead, I mean,
Barren.
for example, Mars is a dead planet,
But have you ever?
right? One sec.
Yeah,
Mars
go on.
is a dead planet.
Life doesn't grow on Mars.
And
Life as we know.
Life does not grow on
do
Mars,
not
as
have
we
a
know,
clue, mate.
right?
We don't even know if it's there.
Or let's say the moon. Have you ever, or if there was life, or if there were intelligent beings on the moon,
Okay.
they will come here and try to explore us, like see this
Well,
human
some
down
people
here.
think it's already happened, but that's just another conversation.
It's
not
just a
gonna
theory.
hypothesize.
At the end of the day, it's just a theory. But the
I
thing
think-
is,
But let me ask you, I'll tell you, you know when you cook like let's say you take a soup or something, and as it's bubbling and bubbling, little bits splash out and bubbles. I feel like life is a bit like that too for me, and you're talking about
do you
my
mean?
purpose. What if I'm just a little splash on the edge of as far as life's got so far, and here I am just bubbling along? What if it wasn't
evolution?
Huh?
You're talking evolution.
Because if you look at the human growth rate, the only other organism ever grown like it is a virus. It goes from nothing until we've got a perfect living environment, and then it goes boom.
but
That's
all
exactly what's
I'm trying to ask you,
I just feel
tell
like
me,
part of a virus.
I want to know something. I want to know where that, for example, in this world that we know, where there's something, where there's life.
Talking about the originating source.
Does life come from a dead thing?
Sure, I don't know. I know that we can. You know,
It does not.
I know
So,
if you fall dead here, then you compress over the ages and become.
for example, some people will say a dead body, when a body dies, maggots come out of the body.
Sure, yeah.
Now, but the thing is this.
Calculate the transferable energy. It's probably a couple of
But the
tons
question,
of energy.
but the thing is this. That those maggots, they came to be through the living planet, because the living planet itself provides energy and life. You get me? So now, there is a source. There's a living source that all this comes from. Right? For example, in the Quran, there's a verse that says, "Kun fayakun." Now, the word "kun," ka, the vowel or the pronunciation of "ka" is a cutting sound.
Okay.
So when you cut something, what happens? It vibrates.
Nice. Okay.
Right? Ka, and then you have kun, and then you get that vibration. So what I'm trying to get is this: when God says kun fayakun, it means be and it is. So God is cutting the thread of non-existing.
Is that words?
Create existence.
Yeah, non-existent, like no life, nothing. The thread of nothingness into. So when the thread of nothingness is cut, it vibrates. Through that vibration comes life.
That's a lovely analogy. I never heard that before, man.
That's in the Quran, though.
That's cool.
Kun
It's really
fayakun. God says be and it is.
When you say says, is that actual speaking? Is that something else?
Huh?
Is that speaking?
What do you mean?
You say the word said. So does that mean like could the audio or could the energy that was said be picked up by like a human eardrum?
Okay, first of all, sound.
the
For
written
example,
word?
look, right now, me and you are speaking.
Yes.
It's language, right?
Life
We're
is coming
speaking
from
words,
my voice,
right?
yeah.
But whatever, forget about the life. But there's one thing you need to understand: the words that we're speaking are just vibrational voices.
Yes, sir.
We are all surrounded by vibration and sound,
I'm a certified
right?
sound
Even
engineer.
when you go beyond, for example, there is what's it called? There's a hadith that says what's it called? The heavens shake. Because of the praise and the worship of the angels that fill
What
beyond the
heaven?
heavens.
What is heaven?
Now,
What is heaven?
Heavens beyond space, beyond our universe.
Oh, so beyond
So, for example, in Islam, there are different heavens, right? There are 7 heavens.
seven.
7 heavens. When we say 7 heavens, like 7 different space realms. For example, our heaven is called the first heaven. Now, when you look up, everything that you see, the stars, the cloud, whatever you see out there,
Whatever you can see. That's
whatever you
heaven
can
one.
see, that's the first heaven.
So we're in
Heaven on earth.
So we're in heaven at the moment.
Huh?
We're in the first
Yeah,
heaven.
man. Heaven on earth.
Heaven, like we're talking about scientifically, heavenly body means like the stars, space out
And
there.
if you think about the
we're
natural
within
world,
that.
this could be called heaven for
But
sure.
for example, heaven in Arabic, or the heaven that you're referring to in Arabic is Jannah.
Right.
Jannah.
What's that?
Jannah.
Oh, so
Jannah.
that's the second heaven.
Huh?
That's the second.
No. Jannah is where we go when we die.
What number is that one? Which number? Three.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
But-
who does know?
Huh?
Who does know?
Who does know? Me, as for example, I'm only telling you what I know. I can't speak about
How
something I
come
don't
you're
know.
aware of the 7 heavens?
Isn't there a
but you're not
system?
aware of which one generally?
Now,
What
first
does
of all,
the
let's
system say about
think
heaven?
that every time I come here, people skip from one thing to another. So let me finish what I
Well,
was saying first.
each topic is so extremely
I know,
deep,
I know, I
and
know.
it presumes a lot.
Hold that question. Hold that question, and let me go back.
Let me say, so if I talk to you and I'm saying that you're going to end up going to the super realm, and I go, well, the leprechaun comes with a machine gun, and he's going to take it and go, whoa, what's a leprechaun? And a leprechaun to me is actually my uncle. So it's defining terms, right? That's why you're saying some terms that not everyone might be accustomed to. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when you say stuff like heaven, like, what does that mean to you? And you said heaven is 7 realms, and this is one realm. So I actually understand this realm, right? And then now you say Jannah is where we go when we die.
And you have to skip through.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, what realm is that? You go, we don't know. So I go, well, how
Do you go to a different
I
realm
didn't say we
based
don't know. I
on
said
how-
I don't know.
Oh, but who does know?
Me as person, maybe other Muslims might know, might give you the answer, but me as
Well,
Khalid,
is the 7 realms in the Quran or the Hadith?
me as Everlast, I don't know what
But
is.
is the 7 realms spoken about in
Yes,
the Quran?
the Quran actually speaks about seven realms and 7 earths.
Okay, 7 earths.
7 earths, like Earth, basically, just like Earth. So basically, I can't put this into words, but I can give you in the simplest way I can, right? So, for example, we live in the first heaven. Right now, everything that you see, when we say heaven,
Heaven 1.
we're not talking about heaven as in when we die, spiritual realm.
this
We're
heaven.
talking about heaven like
Earth is
heavenly
paradise,
bodies,
man.
scientifically, scientifically heavenly
Magic.
bodies. No, not magic. What are you talking about?
The wonder of what is where we
Look,
live.
out there, that's heavens. In the scientific language, it's heavens. You get my point. Don't
So
act
is
like
the
you don't
earth
know.
seen as heaven, or is it
agreeing
just
with
once
you.
you go a couple of miles up that?
How about we use space? That's even much better.
So the atmosphere outside the earth.
How about we use space, innit? Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to use a certain language, but you guys don't understand.
Well, that's my point about language. This whole thing about how language confused people, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now let's use space, yeah?
Okay, space.
There are 7 different spaces, right? And within these 7 different separate spaces, we live in the first one, right? So the first one is that everything that you see beyond, everything out here, is just the first heaven. There's nothing out of it. Every universe, every light, every galaxy you see out there,
in
that
heaven
your
one.
eyes is heaven 1 or space 1. Space 1. So now, Islamically, we believe that to travel, for example, this heaven, whatever it is out there, is too big for us, right? For example, there could be a planet out there that when you compare it to Earth will look like a dust of soil.
Right.
You get me? So now, we are too small to even comprehend the first heaven. Now the first heaven compared to the second is like a ring thrown into the desert. You understand?
I assume the ring is small, right?
Huh?
Like it's not a giant's ring, it's like a small.
Are you trying to take the mic now?
No, I'm saying because once again we have to
I'm
define
giving you an
the
analogy.
term. No, but that's what I'm saying, the definition. So
What?
when you say ring, you're talking about a human ring, right?
What is there any other ring now? There is.
Well, it depends because like I said,
Wait. Tell me another ring that you know of that is so huge that who's gonna put on anyways?
Galactus.
Huh?
Galactus.
What's that?
Well, Galactus is the Marvel superhero, isn't it?
Do you have? Is that a theory that something exists?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about analogies, definitions, and so I'll ask you.
Now,
He's just asking for a bit more
where are we right now? Are we on Earth?
Well, we're in heaven 1. You're right.
No. Right now, are we on Earth? At the
Heaven
moment?
one.
Heaven 1, like, specifically Earth. Home. Our home is Earth.
Yeah.
Our home is Earth. What ring do we know on Earth?
Well, it's men, but
Ring.
a marriage ring.
Thank you.
Right.
That's the one I'm referring to.
But you could say the ring of Saturn. The same.
Huh?
The rings of Saturn.
Yeah, but we're not. Are we on Saturn right now?
Like
Well,
the ring
that's
road
what I'm saying
around
about
London.
Are we on
definition.
Earth right now? Come on, man. Come on,
The
Raven.
thing is,
Raven,
I'm
what are you
actually-
trying to do right now?
The thing is,
M25's a
What are
really
you
big
trying to
ring
do?
road.
here's what you have to understand. Yeah?
What are you trying to
I
do?
gave the analogy about the leprechaun, and if I say, look, in order for you to
Now, why are we talking about leprechaun right now?
See, this is
Listen to the man,
I'm
he's talking.
I'm about to try to teach you
Now,
something.
we're talking about rings, now we're talking about leprechaun.
I'm trying to let you know how language plays a big part in people's understanding, right? And that's why we have to define a certain.
Now, you making it confusing. It's not even that
Oh.
confusing. It's simple conversation.
Once again,
When I spoke about ring, you'd be like, oh, is that the normal ring you're talking about?
Well,
It's
hold
better. But it's like ring, like big ring,
because
small ring,
you made
gigantic
an
ring.
analogy, right?
Come
and
on,
you said
bro.
a ring in a sand. So I said the assumption was that ring is a traditional.
What did I
earthly
do?
ring.
As I was explaining, I showed you my finger.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
So
going
now
with.
we all
Simple
know.
analogy.
Yeah.
I even showed you my finger when I
Yeah.
was explaining it. So
No, I don't get hung up on the point, but I assume the analogy was you're talking about as big as heaven 1 is,
Yeah.
the next heaven is even bigger than that. And so what I'm
So
saying,
if you get it that way, then why are you making
yeah,
it so
but
complicated?
It's very important we get clarity on certain points. It's very important, right? And that's why I gave the analogy about the leprechaun.
What's the leprechaun got to do with what we're saying right now?
Because what I'm saying is, the first question was, when you're trying to explain this topic that is very hard to explain, yeah, every time you start saying things, it's like it goes into another direction. And I'm saying that's because everything you're saying, you assume that the listeners understand fully what you're saying. So if I go, yeah, we're going to go to second heaven, but the leprechaun's going to take us, you can go, what is a leprechaun? I go, oh, it's my uncle. I go, okay, that makes more sense. So you mean he's probably a blood
All right,
family?
one
Yeah.
sec,
But
Raven.
we call him
One sec.
a
Wait, Raven.
Does that make sense?
Raven. You're going all over the place now. Let me come
I'm
back
actually
to,
not, but
Oh,
I understand.
wait, let's come back to the topic. Let's come back to the topic. Yeah. I made myself clear when I said heaven. We're not talking about the spiritual realm.
Yeah.
I said we're talking about space. I said that.
You said heaven 1.
No. When I said heaven, even though I said heaven 1, I specifically said we're not talking about the spiritual realm.
Right.
Right? Because, for example, in Islam, the spiritual realm is called Jannah.
And we don't know which heaven that is. That could be heaven 2.
Wait. I didn't even get to heaven 2 or 3. I was still explaining heaven 1 and how we can get to heaven 2.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Basically, heaven 1, heaven 2, that's space. if I was talking about the spiritual realm, I'd be like Jannah this, Jannah that, and I'll start speaking about spiritual stuff. Okay, we'll get to that. One second. We'll close that down.
Right.
Now the thing is this: we're talking about space in general. Space. Do you know space? What is space? From here, this is all space.
In heaven 1, space is above the Earth's atmosphere. Is that correct? Am I?
What?
So in heaven 1, as you defined it, space is above the Earth's atmosphere.
Is Earth floating in space? Yes or no?
Yes, but from our perspective, it's been on there.
And just
Earth is
to
not
confirm,
floating in space.
Just to
Where is it
confirm.
floating on?
It's not round either.
just to confirm, is
But
that
once again, you still have definitions. So his concept, I'm assuming, of Earth is very different from yours. That's why sometimes we have to have like a.
What's different?
Floating sounds like you're in water.
Yeah, but
You see how language.
no.
You see
But
what I'm
he's
saying?
right though.
In the Bible it says it's
It is right though.
the buffalo water flow, isn't it?
No, it's
So you're
true,
proving
though.
my point.
We are in water. We are breathing in little particles of water right now.
Space is water.
Air includes little particles of water.
Yeah.
Am I lying right now? Is that lie or true?
Well,
Does air contain particles of water? Yes or no?
80% water yourself.
No, forget about me. I'm talking about the air that we breathe in contains air. Like for
But
example,
people-
when I leave Earth, one
Yeah.
second. If I was in space, right, outside Earth, yeah, and somehow I was ejected out of whatever I was on, I'll freeze. Meaning freeze. That means there is liquid out there.
Don't know that.
You will freeze.
Don't know that.
So what I'm saying is, and
There-
what
there's
you've
been enough.
identified
There
is-
has no, it's not has been enough.
what you've identified is trying
there
to prove the existence of deities is a
was
very
an
challenging
experiment
task,
done.
right?
Huh?
So trying to prove the existence of deities is a very challenging task because there's so much.
I wasn't trying to prove everything. I was trying to tell you about
7 heads.
seven heavens, earth, and stuff. But anyway,
it stemmed from we were right. It stemmed from proving deity's existence and the nature of the deity. And we were talking about he and she and how we should refer to deities. So what I'm saying, language plays a big part in people's understanding of certain things. Right?
yeah, but at the end of the day, we're speaking about deities. The thing is, I was trying to explain whether we could call this deities or a deity, and also this
But
whole
when I say deities-
the root of it,
Right.
the root of the whole thing was existence.
Go ahead.
And I was trying to explain what's it called, life and existence, and
What's it
how
called again?
something. For example, I give a good analogy
Go ahead.
in the Quran. God speaks about how things came to be. Says kun, fayakun, and I've given a very perfect analogy. You see, ka, right? Ka is a cutting sound. Even in English, when we're speaking, we say cut, right? So ka is a cutting sound. Yeah, I have to repeat, so at least it sinks into your minds. You get me? Because it seems like you guys are floating all over the place. Now, ka
Like the earth.
is a cutting. Huh?
Like the earth.
It's a cutting sound. Now,
Kun
when
for
you
ya kun.
when you cut something, it vibrates. It doesn't matter. If it's the Bible, you got
Right.
there's a vibration.
Right.
So, when the creator, or the living being, the living divine creator that brought everything to existence, when it was cutting, you get me? When it was cutting the thread of nothingness, vibration obviously happens.
Right. Okay.
Kun, vibration. Kun, that's Arabic, by the way. Kun means be. Kun, that vibration, right, is the beginning of life. Because everything that surrounds us is vibrating, as everything is vibrating.
But
So when we speak about vibration, we're not talking about certain things, you get me? But we're talking about some specific
But
stuff.
wouldn't you agree with no true actual proof that all you're describing is just as fancy as like an awesome like Pixar intro or Disney intro where life just pops out of nowhere, you know, like an barren land, and all of a sudden the life.
It seems like
comes
you're
out.
not. No. Listen.
I'm just
We're not.
saying.
Why are you bringing Disney into this? Are we
moving into these
talking about cartoons
realms
or
of
films
stuff
right now?
we just don't
No, we're
know.
talking about cartoons and films.
We just don't
Tell
know.
me how I'm talking about cartoons and films.
In Earth's round, you're seeing pictures and cartoons.
Did I
that's
say
cartoons
Earth
and
is
pictures.
round? Did I say Earth is
It says
round?
floating
Why
in
don't you
space.
join the conversation,
I'm
please?
right here.
Sure.
Why-
Why? It's floating in space though, isn't it?
Did I say Earth is round?
No, we're not
If you
talking
think
about
it's
that. I'm
space,
saying.
that means you think it's round.
No. Do I say? Am I right? Did I say Earth?
Really
Did you
saying
hear me
this
say
is
the
just
Earth is
something
round?
someone believes.
But it says floating in
I
space,
think
innit?
that was the
So
start
you're
of
gonna
my
assume
premise.
because I said that you're gonna assume
No,
the Earth is
it's
round.
a belief and it's hard
That's
to
you,
prove.
innit? That's your assumption.
Yeah,
It's best to
that-
ask whether
So my
it's
original
space,
question
though,
was,
innit?
as soon as we're prepared to release all
Well,
of those
are you in
beliefs
space
and just
or
drop all of them,
No, you just say Earth.
then we've
you
almost
say
got a
Earth
new
is floating in
place to
space.
start from for how
Are
we
you in
should do
space or
things.
something?
And that's what makes my future feel brighter.
Are you on
And that's
space
also
or
why
not?
it doesn't feel
just say
bright
Earth
right
is
now.
floating in
Because
space.
we're all like,
Why are you asking me a
beliefs
question
are
like
right.
that when I'm telling you you are in space? at the
Coming,
moment?
I'm gonna, because what I'm saying is, I think it's very challenging to prove deities existence sort of stuff as you
But
define
actually,
it.
it's not challenging. You made it seem challenging.
Well,
If, look, the
well,
thing
I
is,
can take
if you don't want to
from-
understand, just be like, okay, you know what?
No, we
Forget it.
understand.
We don't want to understand.
So when
Because you have the
if you
choice
use the
to
term-
understand
if-
about whether there's a God,
if you use the
or
term
there's
so you
no
don't
God,
want to
whether there's a
understand.
creator or there's no creator.
Well, I started.
right?
Hold on. I
Because at the
started
end of the day,
Cliff note.
Hold on. I started the conversation by
is he
saying
on
I
level
don't
7?
know, but I'm content with it, right?
You
So-
don't know.
Yeah, I can tell. So
But
when you
you,
ask me that
why
question,
could you try to know?
No, I have tried. I've definitely tried
Because-
to know. I've definitely tried to.
Tell me what you've done to know. Because, for example, there are very easy ways to know whether there's a creator or that there's a divine being behind all creation.
Name your
Now,
favourite one.
huh?
Name your favourite one.
The law of nature.
So what you're saying is,
It proves a lot.
okay. Well, so what
So
you're
you're
saying
telling
is,
me, wait. So you're telling me, look, nature is, I said this 100 times, I'm going to repeat again. Nature is connected, right? It's like a cycle.
So
Right, you, for example, if you mess with the patterns of life or the patterns of nature, whether it's on Earth or in space, everything collapses.
Well, you
It
know what
does
they
not-
say,
so
most solutions
basically-
that humans find to problems results
Wait,
in more
wait.
problems.
So the best thing, look, the thing is this: as we human beings, I said this earlier, as human beings, we are not connected to life. What's it called? To the circle of life. But sorry, we are connected to the circle of life.
Circle
We
of
depend.
life.
Like
I'm
basically,
just sorry because people talk about cartoons and you say Circle of Life. It's
Disney, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like it was it's like an inward joke, isn't it? But, yeah.
what do you mean?
Have you seen The Lion King?
What?
The Lion King.
Yeah. What about it?
You know Elton John, The Circle of
It's a
Life.
song, isn't it?
Elton John, The Circle of Life.
What about it?
It moves us all.
Lovely song.
What about
Through
it?
tape. Was it? What side has it go?
But what am I talking about?
Well, what I'm saying is,
How is that relevant to what I'm talking about?
because he brought up a cartoon thing. He brought up a cartoon thing. And now it's just, it's just the irony is overwhelming. The irony is overwhelming. But once again, this is my internal
Listen, my
joke.
point earlier was
keeps
this.
me going.
Once we're prepared to let go of any of the beliefs that we can't prove, then we've got so many more important things to talk about.
Now, look, right now,
That's
But you made a good point. You said that if you believe in the existence of nature, then you believe in the existence of God.
no.
I love learning about the analogy.
What I'm
of-
saying-
I accept that.
what I'm saying-
You've won. You've won.
No. I'm not here to win.
No, but
Now we are trying to reason. Actually.
No, but-
listen, what we're doing.
No, but what I'm saying,
someone says
you've done a
I
good
don't
job.
know if God exists.
No, you've done a
I'm
good
not,
job.
I'm not trying to do. So I said, for you to understand God, you have to understand the laws of nature.
But you've
Then
won.
you would know that without the laws of nature, once you understand how it's connected and how it moves, right? Then you would know this cannot happen out of nothing.
Right.
It has to come up from something.
So what I'm saying, if you accept that there are laws of nature, then you accept there's God. Is that what you're saying? That there's a supreme
Correlation.
First of all, it starts with being
Depends
aware.
on your definition
So
of
if you're saying
God.
if
Depends on your definition of God.
yeah, and that's what I was saying. But I'm going to go where he's going because the fact that there's such thing as Speaker's Corner and these debates go on shows you that it isn't as straightforward as just as yes there is, no there isn't. It's a lot. But if you're saying,
Raven, we're talking about reasoning. We're trying to
Yeah,
get
and that's-
into
you
one,
said
one
categorically
another's
that you
mind. You
had
get me?
proof.
so
We were like,
definitions are important. So if someone says that to me, God is the floor, then if I go okay, then goes the floor. I agree with you.
'Cause you believe in the floor.
Yeah,
What is
so,
God?
well, that's well, I don't know. So we start conversation, but I don't know.
You said you
Yeah,
had
but
proof.
what is God? No. We're talking about when we say God, right?
So my understanding of God is that many religious people push forward is a supreme force that controls everything or was responsible for everything that is in existence, but has the ability to think, as we know, as in can actually make decisions, and all those decisions and judgments are perfect, right? So I've always said that the more we define using our language and our cultures and our understandings, the more it becomes it more becomes I haven't got the right word to use because I'm using language, right? But what I'm saying is that's where it becomes hard to follow stuff because very particular. And the example given was when you say he, I go okay. That means if it's a he, does that mean that it has genitalia, or does it mean that it can breed with a female version of itself? And you go no, it's just language. So I say okay, can I use she? And you go no, we have to use he. Then I'm like okay, that sounds like a human import. I could be wrong. I'm in many things, but that's how my understanding of the way we are using language. I say language makes things so difficult, and I think people's bias to language might actually limit conversations. But I could be wrong. Does that make sense?
Okay. The thing is this, yeah. It's true that a lot of people do believe in a creator or in a god.
It's very true.
For example, the Hindu people believe in a lot of deities.
Yeah, we agree.
But there is always this one deity, this one being, the force of all. Every religion, doesn't matter how many other deities they have, they all have a force of all. The force that it all comes from, right? So this force, for example, in Africa, or what's it called? The Indian Americans, even though they're not Indians anyways, but the original people, the native people of America.
We weren't native either. We weren't native either.
We'll get to that. The native people of America, the people that actually live.
Just in case the wind blows,
Yeah.
Easy, bro.
The people. I'm good, man. What's up? So the people, those people, and the African people, earlier times, they did believe in a creator. Like I'm a Somali, right? Before Islam, we had the belief of God. We called them God was the source of life and water, right? So one sec.
Did that change it? No, you
No,
believe
still,
in
no, we still,
it's the same
same thing, the same thing.
Okay.
So now, philosophically speaking, there are what these people have done is that they wanted to understand God. So a lot of people try to carve God out of a human image.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
They try to put God, like for example, here's God, and like, you know what? This is our personality, this is God's personality. So how about we merge our personalities with the personality of God?
Yeah.
For example, you have Christians that talk about three persons, and they're telling you three persons are not human beings, they're not separate God, but they are three persons. Not able to understand what a person is. A person comes, language, because a person comes from the Greek, I think it's Greek. A Greek word, person comes from the Greek word persona. Persona means masks, and masks can deceive you anytime. It's very deceitful. You understand? So, what I'm trying to get at this is that what we human beings have done is that for us to understand God, for us to understand the Creator, this force,
Have to give him.
not only that. What we've done is that we have created a place of worship, right? We've created a house.
And wasn't
so
it
that
about the
actually,
same
let me
time
finish.
that these two
Let me-
major religions were like, all right, all your gods, we got one more,
Let
and
me
he's
finish.
above all of them.
Let me finish,
Like,
please.
he's the ultimate one.
Please.
We win.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, bro.
You see, before all this happened, people did have a faith. They had a belief that there's a force that all things come from. Right. Now, as time passed, people wanted to bring this force into the physical world in every way that they can. Right. So what they did is that they created monasteries, churches, so that when someone or a man or a woman goes through that church, they feel the presence. So now they brought the unseen into the physical world, given a certain definition of it.
Right.
You understand? That's like it could be a church, a monastery, and all this. You get me? Okay. So overall, so now from the beginning, these people had different names for this creator.
Yes.
For example, Swahili is Mungu. Somali is Ebe. Arabic is Allah.
Right.
English is God.
One essence, right?
Same thing, same force.
Okay.
Same
One
force,
force.
one force.
Right.
Just different names.
Chinese.
So now as time passed, it's people that have put what's it called?
Political agendas on
Political
information.
agenda on this so that they can serve its own greed.
Yeah.
So once these buildings came to exist,
Right.
then you have sectism within that same force, that same understanding of this God. As sectism began, what happens is that this sect believes that whatever this sect believes is wrong. So
Yeah.
there we have two oppositions.
Yeah.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
We have two oppositions. So as time passed, that's how religion divided.
Right.
You get me?
But surely the fact that we
Please,
think we have to go
let
in
me-
a building to
I'm
find God
coming to
already
my
says
end.
we
I'm
make-
coming to
Yeah,
my
it's
end.
coming to the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I'm coming to my
Let him
end.
get to the end.
I'm coming to my end now.
Go ahead.
Now, as time passed, not only was religion divided, what's it called? The knowledge of the force, the creator, the divine being has been divided. But what happened in the process? Theology came to existence. You understand? So it's, and then you have different ideas and philosophical ideas that merged, and words and language, and also as we evolve,
Yes.
language evolves as well.
Yes.
And also a lot of meaning gets lost along the way. So that's my ending. But at the end of the day, whatever we're talking about, this force that we're talking about, is the same force that we believed from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
That creator.
So you're saying there's one force, and when we talk about deities, we're talking about that one force.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I still don't know, but I would like to know, and hopefully we can find out through.
So now, okay, the thing is, people like Raven were born on the wrong time, where
Probably.
where everything went through chaos. Oh shit! Has anyone got tissue? I didn't even know that, man.
No, it's great.
Yeah. So I think what the Bible talks himself about. So I think you really started asking about how Muslims and Christians will talk to each other.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
feel that if they were to like try to go to the source rather than mediation or something.
Exactly.
And I think brothers came in to offer that. But my legs are actually hurting, so I have to walk around. But
Keep moving.
it's good to brothers.
Nice to talk to you guys.
Yeah,
Nice
definitely.
You get me? So anyways, long story short, when I said like people like Raven got lost along the way, it was what I mean, like it's human beings that have messed up, right, the understanding of God. For example, when we look back, for example, the Zopharians, there's a lot of people that actually had the faith or the belief of one deity. But when we speak about deity, it's not a being. It's not. So when I say it's not a being like a human being,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't have.
For example, there's a verse in the Quran that says, "Qul huwallahu ahad," which means that say God is one, right? He's no one like him and nothing is like him, and he never begets nor is he begotten, meaning that he's nothing like you. As human beings, we can only imagine the things that. We
put a persona or a gender or
Exactly.
something for us to
Also, when it comes to
comprehend.
imagination of the Creator, we can only imagine what we have seen. So that's why in the Bible you have God created us from His own image,
Yes.
right? Rather, the actual way is God created man from their own, like my own image, not God's image, His own image, man's own image.
Yeah.
Do you get the point? So
Yeah,
people, as
I get
language
you.
grows, people forget the meaning of the language and what it really represented. For example, if we say God created man from His own image, who is the He we're talking about? It's the man that's being created from an original, unique image of His own.
Yeah.
But if we twist it the other way around, what we're doing is that we are carving God from our own image now.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
then
get
there's the long story short. For example, there is a verse in the Quran that says, everything in creation worships God in harmony. Now, what is worship? I've looked for the word worship. What is worship? Right? I used to ask God to guide me. I'm a Muslim, but at some point I used to pray to God, Ya Allah, guide me. Like, oh God, guide me. I want to be guided. Because I thought being guided was just being spiritual, go to the mosque, wear a big clothing with the everything, like just like normal Muslim.
Yeah.
But then I come to understand guidance is knowledge. If you have knowledge, you have guidance. But proper knowledge, people ask themselves, how do I get knowledge? Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Right? And look, these are very special things. All religious leaders, whether it's Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, they all told us, if you want to know, ask and you shall receive. Whatever it is that you want, just ask for it. Sincerely though, and then you will get it.
Yeah.
Right? People, and then there's another one that says about the self. One of the greatest knowledge is you. One of the most powerful things is you. For them, the Quran says they look for miracles and amazing things and, you know, something to come out of nowhere and all sorts. When the greatest of all miracles is within them.
Yeah.
What did Jesus say? Know thyself. What did Buddha say? Know thyself. It's that same source that tells you where thyself comes from is the source of you. For example, in this world we have two types of lights. Sorry, I'm keeping you too long. But we have two types of lights, yeah? There is a borrowed light, which is, you know, moon is a borrowed light. When you lit a torch on something that glitters, that glitter it gives out, it's not a glitter of its own, it's from the light that you are shining on. And then there is the original light. You see, everything that has original natural energy lights up. For example, we human beings have natural energy, that's the soul, right? And this soul is like a lamp that shines. You get me? And this lamp, for example, a lot of people feel empty in here. So they go to the gym to feel good, or they do drugs to feel good, or they drink to feel good, or they party to feel good. But still they miss something.
Yeah.
It's because that light within you needs energy, a source that it came from, the source of all lights, right? So for us to, for example, what's it called? The sun has a natural light. The moon cannot light without the light of the sun,
Yeah.
right? If the sun is taken away, the moon does not bright, it does not shine anymore. The earth goes dark as well. So you have you have this what's it called soul that comes from an energy, a source, a being that has a living being, a living energy. So once you direct, for example, I pray Salah, and Salah is not prayer, it's something, it comes from the word, Salah means like connection, right? So connection, so I do connection. And this connection, when I'm doing this connection with this living divine creator, I feel content. I feel okay. I feel like I don't need to drink. I don't need to feel something else to make me happy, right? Also, what's it called? The best way to know this being, like remember earlier I talked about nature, is very important. Is the best link. I spoke about nature. Is first of all to know yourself, be aware, look around you. So once you sink into the self, you come to understand. You know what? There's got to be a source. There's got to be an energy. Something. Only a living thing can come from a living thing. If something is dead, it's dead, right? So once we connect this life, this soul to the essence, then we will feel contentment and peace, and that is the divine creator.
Yeah.
The one that I was talking about. Remember when I said through philosophy and theology and political agendas and greed, this what's it called? The source, the mission of of this divine creator has been changed to fit man's need.
Exactly.
So we need to forget that,
Yeah.
right? I swear, like, I remember once in a while I go to the park. I do some mountaineering. I like nature. So when I'm there, I don't use the phone, nothing. I go with friends sometimes. Coming back to the city, I don't want to come back.
Yeah, because you feel connected.
You feel connected.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, for example, we have been disconnected from nature, and we wonder why are we sad?
Yeah.
Why are we the way we are today?
It's all connected at the end of the day. We are part of it, so...
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
When you feel disconnected, you feel empty inside, and then you end up escaping yourself through alcohol and drugs and all of that shit, yeah.
100%. So, also look, there's another deep question. Why do all the people who came up with the leaders of this religion, Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, all these religions once upon a time had the same mission? And they were more like reformers than coming up with something new. They've never come with something new. It's always been the same thing. Because if Jesus saying, know thyself, the Quran saying the greatest miracle is within you, Buddha is saying, know thyself, what is missing out? Same thing. They all refer to one being. Also, when these people speak, they refer to a creator, a being that's divine, that is free from us.
Yeah.
But we don't need. So how come they all of them, they go to the wilderness? Why did they first go connect with nature? Buddha was said he used to sit under a tree. Muhammad used to go to a cave to meditate and to understand and to question. And this cave was in a mountain. Moses used to go to the mountain. He's got his revelation on the mountain. Jesus went to the wilderness. Why are they all living?
It's a source of connection.
There's a source of connection.
Yeah.
That's all it is. For example, these guys, look, we try to explain to them, they try to make it complicated.
Yeah.
Just like I spoke about, it's all about that philosophical thing all over again.
Yeah.
You get me? But anyways, you guys are great listeners. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Lovely to listen.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Content over everything. From your melody.
Man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
I know.
Listen.
Yeah.
I understand. The first one today I see this one.
This one? Walabu?
Walabu, Raya. Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Somalian come from Somalo.
Yeah. You see, I was telling, for example, do you agree
Yeah.
that Oromo comes from Somalo?
Somalo come from Somalo.
Yes.
Oromo come from Kushatik.
Yeah, but father...
Kushatik come from Oromo fathers in the Somali